Yes, welcome everyone to this webinar today. My name is Ellen and I work at the International Relations Office at Mid-Sweden University. I work at the campus in Östersund, and I will try to give you just a brief introduction to the university and which programs we offer for those of you who did not have the chance to attend our previous webinar where we introduced the university. And then I will hand over the word to our three students who will tell you a lot more about what it is really like to study here. So as I mentioned, we have two campuses, one in Östersund and one in Sundsvall. And the university is located almost right in the middle of Sweden. So on the map, you can see where we are. And we offer a range of programs taught entirely in English. There is one bachelor program taught in English, and that's the Bachelor in Ecotechnology. Then we also have a wide range of master programs taught in English in, for example, computer engineering, embedded sensor systems, which is electronics, business, or sports science, to just name a few of them. But then we also have master by research programs, which is a setup of master programs which is more unique here in Sweden, because you will be part of a research team in a research center at the university, and you will be doing your own research together with the supervisor and the professors there, of course, from start. So this is something which could be interesting for those of you who maybe want to continue with the PhD later on, or want to continue your career in academics, for example. If you think one of those programs is for you, then you can apply online through universityadmissions.se, which is the central application website for all Swedish universities. And the deadline to apply for programs starting autumn 2022 is the 17th of January. So make sure you don't miss that deadline. So you have to apply before the 17th of January. And then once you have applied, you have until the 1st of February to submit and complete all the supporting documents that need to be handed in together with your application. If you have any questions during this webinar today, please write them in the chat in the Q&A function, and we will get back to them at the end of this webinar. But now to the most important part of this today's meeting. We have our three students with us, Natalie, Bibinur, and Anastasia, and they are all studying at different campuses and studying different programs and subjects. So they will give you an insight on what it is like to study here, maybe what they thought was different or difficult when they started, or which advice they have for new students coming here or thinking to apply if you're not sure yet. So I'll leave the floor over to you, girls.
Thank you. I think that maybe the best would be to start with introducing ourselves. If any of you girls want to start.
Sure, I could start. So my name is Anastasia, as Ellen said. I am 25 years old. Originally, I'm from Ukraine, but I'm studying in Germany. So I came within the exchange program to study one semester in Sweden. Currently, I am in Östersund, and I'm doing the Master Business Administration.
Nice, perfect. I can take over. My name is Natalie, and I'm originally from the Czech Republic. I actually came here at first as an exchange student as well. It's been already 2 years since I came to Östersund, but I liked it way too much, I would say. So I decided to stay here and finish my bachelor's here in ecotechnology. And I am based in Östersund as well as Anastasia.
So, hi everyone, my name is Bibi Nur, shortly Bibi. I'm 23 and I'm from Kazakhstan, and I'm doing my master's program at Sweden in Sundsvall. And yeah, so also in MBA marketing and management. Yeah. So I guess I would like to start referring questions to Natalie and Anastasia. So why you decided to study at Sweden?
I have to admit that this was the first country I was looking for, because I have to admit that my flatmate showed me once pictures of the Abisko National Park. And I mean, I wasn't intending to do that because he warned me like, yeah, this is for very professional hikers. But as I saw those pictures, I was really amazed by the nature and basically the landscapes. This was the main reason I wanted to come to Sweden. And that's why I wasn't even chasing any university in Stockholm or somewhere in the south. I really wanted to go far to the not far to the north, but I would say more to the middle of Sweden, so that I have the wonderful nature. And as a Ukrainian, I am in love with winter. I'm in love with snow. So this is the part I really miss back in Germany. So that's why when I saw the pictures of the university covered with the snow, I knew exactly that I want to be there in winter. Yes. What about you, Natalie? Why did you decide to go to Sweden?
I actually had quite similar reasons. I remember that when I was searching for a partner university that had some connections with the previous one in Czech Republic, I actually wanted to go as far as possible, and this was one of the options. And then I'm also very much a winter person, and I also remember that before I've never been in Scandinavian country. So that was one of the reasons as well. And then I think that the very last one was actually, or two reasons. It was the courses that were offered, because I was studying back home environmental engineering. So like the courses that were offered for international students were somehow really close to the topic that I was studying back home. And then the second is that overall, I don't know if that is like a thing in other countries as well, but studying in Scandinavian country, especially in Sweden, for example, is somehow seen very valuable on your like degree certificate. So, and is known that the educational system is, for example, very different to the Czech one. So I was like, this is a good reason to go there because I would like to experience the system, and maybe it will give me some valuable experiences for my future. So, and you, Bibi?
Yeah, I think we all can agree that we wanted to isolate ourselves and go far away from the city. For me, it was a program. I looked for 1-year program for master's, and that was really good choice at Sweden University. And I really liked the opportunity that you could choose the campuses. So I choose Sundsvall because it looked more prettier. Okay.
But our campus ugly. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, and also the quality of the program was really good. And like while I'm studying here, I really can say that that's true. It's intense. It's different from what I study in Kazakhstan, of course, but I really enjoy that what I'm doing, and I'm doing a lot of research now. And yeah, totally worth it. So my next question would be, what important things to bring in Sweden? I think that's interesting one.
I think that really depends on what you expect of yourself doing in your spare time, because I realized that it changed a lot since I moved here. And because of course, like I was an outdoor person before, but when I came to Sweden, especially to Östersund, like I was just I cannot get enough. I've been running around the city and the nature, the mountains, whenever there is a possibility. And so I think, or what I would definitely recommend for someone that would be based in Östersund is outdoor and sports stuff, because there is so much to do. If it's summer, if it's winter, this is something that I actually missed when I was coming here for the first time. Because I think that I didn't expect myself to be this active. And then somehow with like also the group of people, we got on the same wave with these things, and we do hiking trips, we go camping, kayaking, and it's just like really exciting. And now I have to admit that I'm even more looking forward to the winter than I was ever before, probably, because I just cannot wait to get on skis and cross-country skis, ice skating. So this is something that I would definitely recommend to bring here, outdoor stuff, if this is something that you enjoy. What do you think, Anastasia? I think that you will agree with me on this.
Yes, of course. This was also this was just the case for me, because I only took my hiking boots because I thought like, yeah, I'm kind of like more or less prepared. I went on a couple of hikes back in Germany, and I thought, yeah, my sport clothes, this should be fine for hiking. But then at some point you realize that the hikes in Sweden are slightly different, especially when you are going on a hike in winter. Then you might need other equipment. So I would totally agree with Natalie that this might be a couple of things you might need in here, like the special clothing for outdoor activities. But I have to admit that I discovered the secondhand culture for myself in here.
Yes.
True, yeah.
And
We all got trapped in this.
Yeah, yes. And I mean, there is also lots of stuff you can find in the secondhand store in case you're not equipped like with a perfect jacket or with perfect pants. There is still lots of stuff. And I heard from many friends who said that they found even hiking boots in a secondhand store. I think hiking boots are more like a piece of luck if you find hiking boots in a secondhand store. But the clothing, it's still very probable to find that one. But I have to admit that with the exception of the outdoor clothes, I don't think that there is anything I really forgot to take with me. What about you, Bibi?
Yeah, the comfortable shoes, that's the first thing for sure to bring. And yeah, for me, it was like, for now, I'm experiencing lack of winter clothes because it's never like enough in Sweden. You want to layer yourself. So yeah, but yeah, the secondhand culture here is really good. So for the students who want to save some money to travel, it's perfect, because in Sundsvall and Östersund, there's so many secondhand. So like, I'm sure you will find something. And next thing, I would recommend to bring vitamins, but you can like buy here too. But if you have some, like, bring with you in the beginning. So yeah, and also I have tell that router. It's we didn't have it in our dorm, like apartments, shared apartments. So in the first days you might need the router. So it's better to bring it to with yourself, because in my country router like costs, I don't know, 100 crowns, but here I bought it for 400, and yeah, but it's okay. But still, this thing I would recommend to bring.
Maybe I would also, one more thing that I would say is that sometimes it's really nice to also bring a piece of home with you, because I think that some people, or what I experienced within the 2 years, there might be time that you get homesick, because still it's quite far from home. And even very small things, because for example, I have this like several very favorite dishes or like meals that I like to cook. And there are things that are missing in the grocery store to cook these. So this time when I was coming here, I thought about it before, and I brought different spices, for example, from Czech Republic, just to make myself my favorite food. But it's also pictures with your family, with your friends, or just anything that will somehow make you feel better when the dark days come and you feel homesick.
That's true, yeah. Need like the must-have things. So is there any recommendation for the students?
I think just by joining this webinar, I think that's one of the things that I would recommend. Just inform yourself before you come, because what I also experienced from students that came here before, they really didn't know what to expect. And then they might be surprised by anything, how the university works, how the weather is, how like the daily life is, because I think those are things that differ a lot from different countries. For example, this was something that I actually wanted to like mention before with the university. What I experienced was that the first month probably I was quite overwhelmed with how like assignments and basically the university works here, because it's very different from Czech Republic. There I would be just like sitting in classes almost every day, listening to my professors, and then have an exam at the end, and that was pretty much it. But here it's more about like interacting with the whole class, doing group assignments or group projects. And this is something that I found really nice, for example, but it took me some time to get used to it, because I just wasn't in the process of like doing any kind of research or just writing longer papers. And then I realized that within probably the first 2 months, I wrote this amount of like paperwork that I probably never done in my whole life. So this is something that like students should expect. And I think that this is like an overall a known thing. So by informing yourself, you can somehow prepare for what's coming for you. So it's not a big shock.
Yeah.
And then also about the student life, because some people, this was something that I also found hard. I knew that, for example, in Prague or in other cities where my friends went on like exchange studies, there were like the student life or like the international organizations were like very visible, and it was under like one bigger branch that is over like whole Europe basically. This I didn't find here. It just takes a bit longer to like find this information about, yes, we have an international committee, this is what we do. We want to keep like the life for international students just like more alive, of course. So my recommendation is just inform and ask, because I'm pretty sure that there will be always someone to answer you these questions that you have before coming here or before even deciding if you want to study here or not.
And you, Anastasia?
I would agree with Natalie. I think that it's quite a good suggestion to inform about the whole process. I have to admit that I cannot call this struggles, but it was kind of adjustment to another education system, because I was used to the studying in Germany, and it's similar. I guess it's similar to the studying process in Prague or in the Czech Republic, because we have multiple courses simultaneously, and we just have lectures, and then we write all the exams at the end of September. And I have to admit, I didn't decide whether I like the German system or the Swedish system more. I think that Swedish system is more relaxed because you have like only one course, and then you focus only on one course. You don't have this multiple courses where you have different stuff to do. So here you have only one course. You focus on that one course, and by the end of the month or by the end of the period, it's over, and then you kind of have like a logical ending of this course. So I think this is probably a good part about it. I have to admit that I didn't do that much research before I came to Sweden. I mean, like I didn't read too much about the culture or something like that, because I thought that I will experience it in here, the whole culture in here. But I think this is a good idea, maybe to at least Google like whether Sundsvall or Östersund, depending where you are going, and like to look at the temperature, how is it in different months, so that you won't have any unexpected surprises. But I think this was my summary of Natalie's recommendations. What could you add something, Bibi?
Yes, because I was like the applicant as today's viewers, let's say. So first thing first, for me, Sweden is a place that I want to stay after study. And my recommendation is a bit for those students, maybe. So of course, start with the research, make sure what's your goals and set the plan for the application process. And after you receive some information, start learning Swedish. Because if you want to stay in Sweden, you have to know Swedish, even though these countries speak perfectly English. In the jobs, you have to have knowledge in Swedish, and 1 year programs are really intense, really fast. Like within 5 weeks, we have one course. So maybe sometimes you will not be studying Swedish that intense as you think you will. So, and also do a lot of network before coming, after coming, because network is just everything here. You can ask someone who will borrow you some stuff, and maybe you don't have to use Airbnb because you will travel a lot, that's for sure. And of course, enjoy the process, because what you will hear about Sweden, that's 100% true. Everything, like every good stuff, like I experiencing here, like right now, like all the sustainability, what they're talking about, the prices. Yeah, that's true. So be positive, be ready, and I hope you'll be here next year and we'll be talking to the next students like we do. And yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree this. Like it can get scary sometimes, but at the same time, you should be excited. You should be looking forward to this, because there are definitely great things waiting for you, both in Sweden and at this university. Because I think that otherwise we wouldn't be here and we wouldn't be talking nice things about it, because we all enjoy it. And it's a really good choice. Like for me personally, just the step that I made, that I decided to switch the country after a year and a half that I already done somewhere else, probably says that it was a good choice. It is a good place to be.
Yeah. I think should we ask the audience, is there any questions?
Of course.
Can see if we have received some questions. Yeah, I think so. Maybe you can tell the students a little bit more about the housing in Östersund and Sundsvall. What kind of student accommodation do you live in, and was it difficult to find, and so on?
For the Sundsvall, it's accommodation already provided by Mid Sweden University, which is great. That's the I think, benefits of Mid-Sweden University, because other, as I heard, other universities do not provide the housing, but here you're guaranteed to have a housing before coming. So that was really nice. And it's the price is very low for the Sweden, which is great. So I don't see like a huge difference from the renting in Kazakhstan and here. It's mostly this prices are same, which is great. So you can rent and travel, and yeah, it's in the, how to say, it's a shared apartment with the kitchen and the balcony, and there's like 3 people living in each apartment, which is great. And every international students are living in the same place, so you don't have to go very far away. You really meet at the same place, have a party or have a fika. So that's the great, I think. Yeah, it's, yeah. And you guys?
For us, it's very, I think that the housing here is very special and very different from any other places. Well, first of all, in Östersund, you have 2 options, or you are also guaranteed to get an accommodation. And how it usually is that Swedish people usually live in housing in the city center. Of course, for international people, this is possible as well, but the flats that are there are, first of all, shared, and second, are not furnished. So international people usually go for the second option, where actually me and Anastasia lives as well, and it's called the camping, which might sound a bit weird, but we all live in cottages that have different sizes. It varies between 25 square meters to, I don't know, 45. I am not sure right now.
I think there are also bigger ones. They are up to 50 maybe. These are the
yeah, I'm not sure about the biggest ones, how the size is. But basically, there are right now about 50 international students in one camping in these cottages, which is amazing. I have to say that this creates very, very special atmosphere for us international students, or like very different experience, because you can just like walk out of your door and knock on your neighbor's door and to, yeah, exactly, spend some time together. Or if you need anything, we have like group chats and we just like write each other, oh, sorry, I need this and that. And you just walk 1 minute away and then someone will help you. So it's a perfect place, to be honest, for international students, because it's also very easy to interact with the other ones than if we would be spread all around the city. So I think that this is this would really much describe how we live in Östersund.
Sounds luxurious.
Yeah.
I would also link to Natalie's description. We are really like a big family, because everyone lives at the same place. So basically, this is just like Natalie said. If you are missing something, you just knock at your neighbor's door. If you want to have fika, then you just knock at the other neighbor's door. And this is really fun. And also we have a fitness studio here at the camping, and there is also a sauna and the swimming pool. So on a dark winter evenings, there is lots of stuff to do in case you don't want to stay at home. And it's and I have to admit, I was really surprised how much stuff the cottages have inside. I mean, like the cutlery or the plates or the whole kitchen stuff. So I really love my little cottage. It's very comfortable here. Yes.
You can make it very cozy if you want to.
Yeah. And actually, for it sounds very nice, and I really wanted to come now.
You can always visit us. You're always welcome.
Yeah. Because around Sundsvall, I saw cottages, and it's very nice. You have own place like a garden. So in the summer, I can imagine you just go outside, just take a sun bath and do yoga Oh my God.
We're doing this as well. We have these like camping benches around as well. So the first days in spring, when it gets warmer and sunny, we're just all sitting outside in front of our cottages,
Yeah.
catching some sunlight finally after the winter. So yeah, that's very true.
And I have like a little lawn at the back of my cottage. And back when it was sunny, then I spent a couple of days outside reading some books or writing the assignment. It was really cool to sit outside. And the camping looks a little bit like a forest, because we have lots of trees in here. And a friend of mine who visited me, he said to me like, you live in the middle of the forest. And I was like, yes, maybe this is not the real forest, but it kind of looks like that. And speaking of forest, there is a small forest. This is actually like a hiking area near the camping place. Correct me, Natalie, if I'm wrong, but there is also a little barbecuing place and a little lake, so you can go barbecue. You can have barbecue over there, or you can go ice skating on the little lake, but you have to be careful. You have to wait. Yeah. You have to wait enough weeks with the frosty days in winter. But
we are getting there.
Yeah,
slowly but surely.
we are getting there. And you can also see, sometimes if you're lucky, you can see Nordic lights at the lake.
Yesterday we were lucky. We had Nordic lights in Anastasia. Yes.
Yesterday we saw some, and we even saw some at the camping. That was just exciting, because I looked out of my window and I was like, wait, no, this cannot be true.
True.
Yeah, in Sundsvall, the same. You can experience Northern Light a little far away from the city. You can see it really clearly. So yeah, we kind of in the middle of the fairy tale. And also another really interesting point, that even though I'm living in an apartment building, we also have a common place to have a barbecue, which I found really cool about Sweden. So you always can barbecue something
everywhere. Yeah. Very true.
Great description. There was also a question about, you mentioned winter and ice skating. There was a question about students who are not so used to winter and coming from countries where it's probably a lot warmer. Of course, it can be frightening for some students, but do you have any advice how to cope with the winter, or what to bring, or what to think about?
I when you just said this, I remembered my Italian friends from the first semester that they were struggling a bit with this. But I think that it's just a matter of time to get used to it, because of course for everyone, when it started really freezing, it was probably a little bit of a shock. But what I was told in my introduction days, the key is the layers. So you just have to layer all your clothes, everything that you have. And really, this is something that I learned within a time as well, because the layering that I was doing back home was very different from what what I started doing here. Because here, like, also, as we said, what you can find in the secondhand stores, or like in normal, like just normal stores, basically, the clothing is somehow adjusted to the weather as well, so you can find the things that you need. But I would always, like, when it's really freezing, wear like a base layer of some, for example, wool clothes, and then another like normal shirt, normal trousers, and then maybe like a fleece jacket, then definitely a longer jacket, proper gloves and a hat, and then very good shoes, winter shoes. And then I'm pretty sure that even when you're from the south, you should survive the winter here.
Yeah, that was my mistake. I thought I would buy here shoes, because my logic was like, okay, Swedes will know how to, like, in Sweden you will find proper winter shoes. That's why I didn't brought mine. And here I'm struggling. And yeah, for sure, bring your winter shoes, because in the end of October it's already snowing. So yeah, and don't be like me.
And
I think
spikes, and we wear spikes, but that's something that you probably buy, because right now the whole city was fully covered by ice within the past few days, and that got really dangerous. But this is something that we adapted to as well. Within some time, you can buy these special covers for your shoes so that you don't slide on the ice, and we changed our tires for the bikes, and the life is very normal again. You just have to adapt.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Great advice. Let's see if there are any more questions. There was a question about the living costs. You guys mentioned that the accommodation is not so expensive. Do you have any more advice regarding this?
I'm not sure if we mentioned how much it is in Östersund. I think that for because I live in the smallest cottage, and that one is about 260 euros, I think. I'm not sure, Anastasia, you live in the bigger one. How much is that one? I'm not really sure.
I live in a bit bigger one, so mine is 380 something. Sorry, 390. Yes. But I find it quite okay because, for example, I pay the same price for my room back in Germany. So that's why I think that the camping prices, they are very, very low. So I think that if someone would choose any kind of accommodation in the city center, I mean, like a shared flat, this might be maybe more expensive, but
a bit more.
I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't state that. I didn't inform myself about it, but I think like for such a big apartment, in my case, it's a very, very good price, I would say. Yes. And I think that the like the living cost, if the person meant like the food and so on, I think it depends. It depends on the country you're coming from. I have to admit that it might be slightly more than my living cost back in Germany, but still, for example, we also have Lidl near the camping place, and this is one of the supermarkets which is a cheaper one. So that's why it's not a problem to find some cheaper some solutions to buy cheaper food. So I think that it's more the matter of information you get where you can find some cheaper food and so on. So that's why.
Yeah, for me it was like in the beginning I was renting a room which was too big for me, and I paid almost 300 euros. But then I changed the room because the agency, we have like rights to change it twice, and I found the available one, and now I'm paying almost 200, so I'm saving the money. So that was really, really good luck. And yeah, you can easily find after coming, when you will adapt, you know where is really cheap things, so you can manage your budget. So yeah, of course, depending from your country, but for Central Asian person, for me it's average. Yeah. So, and I applied for the visa, so I needed to resident permit. So for resident permit, you have to have like show the bank statement of like, and the student have like 8,000 crowns per month. So this is the like the lowest price for living, and I can surely say I spent less money, less than the Swedish agencies showed. So you can survive here too.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying about the food, for example. I think it, of course, really depends on the person's habits or like what you're used to eat. But within a certain, like within a short period of time, I think that everyone somehow figures like where, for example, fruit is like less expensive, where vegetables are, where like milk and cheese and just every store has something different. And then of course it's also like sometimes better to have like I don't know how you call this, not memberships, but some these different kinds of programs.
Discount.
Yeah, exactly, like programs, so that for example in Lidl you get like really good discounts on like certain foods. And then
Yeah.
also what is really good, for example, in Ostersund, there is a food sharing platform as well, which I heard that many students do. So they sometimes get like leftovers from a bakery or something. So this is an option as well. When it comes to free time, that again probably depends on the person's habits. For example, if you would go to a gym here, there are several different ones. Some of them are more expensive, some of them are cheaper. Then it just depends whether you want to go a bigger distance or you want to just walk out of your door, as we usually do. But yeah, otherwise, for example, from me, from a lower income country as well, from Czech Republic, I think that it was a bit more expensive and it was something that I needed to get used to. But again, then I somehow adjusted like the habits and the way how I do the groceries, for example. And now I'm like very comfortable with the money that I spend here, because it's still very manageable. You just have to find your own way.
Another
So
thing
there's
that might be interesting and that students are surprised is the microwaves. Is that something you
Microwave.
experienced at the university? A
Oh,
lot
that's
of
very true.
yeah.
That's very true. But it's actually really great, because I think that in other, or at least me back home, I was used to going to cafeteria every day, because the lunch there was very cheap and it was good. So that was always a good option. But here, many people cook for themselves, and actually at the university we have several rooms that are just full of microwaves, and it's almost like fully equipped kitchen basically, so that you can always bring food for yourself from home. So that also probably helps to somehow manage your like monthly budget, because then you can always cook for yourself, which is probably cheaper than going out for lunch. Also at the university, that would be definitely more expensive than cooking for yourself. But what is great, we always like there's what we do, the internationals in Ostersund, for example. If we go to the university for classes or for, I don't know, working in a library, we have like a time that we always meet together for the lunch. So everyone brings their boxes, we like heat them up in the microwaves, then we meet in the hall, and there's like a full table of international students just eating together. So it's actually a great habit that we have with this as well. So yeah, that's true. Microwaves. Never done that back home. It's really great.
So there is another question. Do students engage in part-time jobs?
I heard about few people, but to be honest, I personally would not do it, because I think that the amount of work that we get from the university is quite a lot, and it would be hard probably to manage both of the things together. And if I heard about people that were like partially working during the time that they were studying, I've heard many times that they struggled at some point, because it's just hard to manage the time together, because also like the schedule is not based on like every week you would have the same. So I think that for to actually get a job where you would be scheduled on certain times, it would not always match, for example, with the schedule. And then you're missing classes and you get in like a loop where you're basically somehow behind. And some people do manage, but I would not honestly recommend it, because then it might get overwhelming, I would say.
I have to admit that I kept my job back from the university in Germany, but I don't have to work that much. So these are basically only 5 hours a week. And this is, so the working time is very, very flexible, so that I can, so I just get my tasks and then I can accomplish them in the time when I have free time for that one. But I would agree with Natalie, because as you have one course only for 1 month, more or less for 1 month, or for 5 or 4 weeks, it's difficult to adjust your working schedule to the university schedule, and the classes, like the schedule for the classes, it shifts, and that's why it could be really challenging to adjust it, especially if you have only like fixed working days. So I think this is a good advice, maybe to reject or to leave the planning on having a job and just focus on studying.
And there is like in the Mid-Sweden University website, you can find the vacancies for the students, like part-time. You're always welcome to apply from them, because that's how I found most of the vacancies. But unfortunately, most of them needs Swedish to get in. So that's why my suggestion, if you want to get a job, you have to know Swedish. There is very few companies that are okay with the English speakers. And also, I'm agree with the girls that let's like focus on your study first. You will get a job here if you want to, in like after your study will be done. But don't distract yourself on these challenges, like that you need to get the part-time job. But first of all, you came to Sweden to study. So study first, and then you can do something else. Yeah, but I think it's the best time to relax, because you will work for your whole life. It's best to be a student.
Yes, good point. You mentioned the study system and the fact that you have one course at a time earlier. Is there anything more you want to tell the audience about the study system or the student-teacher relationship or so on?
I have to admit that a position is something new for me. A position, for those who don't know, it's when you write a paper after another group students write a position to your paper. So before like finally submitting, you get how to say reviews from the students, and that's how you can actually see how paper can be written and see the flaws of your paper, and same time you can evaluate someone's paper, which is really great. Now I know more how when I'm writing a paper, I know how like other students will just say comments about it. So I already writing, okay, so this thing is really really like was new for me. What about you guys?
I also wanted to say almost the same. For me, this was the amount of papers. I wasn't used to write that much papers back at my university, because of course it depends on the program. But for example, back at my university, I had only tests where we would just answer a couple of questions, but we didn't have to write that much assignments. And but you don't have to be afraid of the amount of work which is coming towards you, because and our courses, we had introductions, and we had lots of classes where the lecturers described to us how you write the assignment. They explained what they expect us to write in the introduction, how they expect us to structure the paper. And as Bibi said, it's very, very helpful to get the opposition from your classmates, because then you see your paper from another perspective, and then you realize what were the flaws, or what didn't come out that good as you expected it to be. And you also get lots of feedback from the lecturers themselves. At least this is how the course I had was structured. So we got the position from our classmates, and then we got some feedback from the lecturer, and then we could adjust our paper. And this was also very, very helpful, because now I finally learned how you have to structure a paper, because I was struggling with the writing back at my university, because no one explained what's expected to be in the introduction, what's expected to be in the abstract, what's the best way to write a conclusion. So that was definitely a big difference to the studying back at university in Germany.
I definitely agree with you. Like the amount of written assignments is higher. What I would also probably like to mention, what some students might not be very used to, is also a very high level of interaction between the students within the class, but also with the professor, with the teacher. Because for example, when we do assignment, or even during classes, we have many discussions, either with the whole group or in like separated rooms, because I think that they somehow really want us to think about what we are learning, which is good, obviously. And so you can expect that maybe like half of the class will be mostly led as a discussion, because we just like the professors want us to give like opinions about the topics that we're talking about, or like if we know possibly something more, if we like read some books or seen some documentaries, and just like to discuss what we think about the topics. Or if we have an assignment, some of the examinations at the end of the assignment are held as a discussion as well. For example, you give a presentation, and then you discuss with the class whether you struggled, what results it brought, and just like this is somehow how like the process in the classes is held as well. And something that I'm not sure, probably wasn't mentioned before as well, something that I really liked, we call our teachers or professors by their names.
Yeah.
It was something really surprising for me, because I never experienced this before. And when we got here and I suddenly like got to know this, like the environment of the university became way more friendlier somehow, like because I don't need to be scared of like asking anything, because I know that there are like humans as we are, of course, and they are there to help us. And so even this very small detail just like makes the environment way more nicer. What I would also like to say is that this all might sound a bit stressful, assignments, discussions, we're probably not used to it. But then also I found many of the professors very caring. Like if you feel like it's a lot, they will somehow help you. Because I was, for example, in a position where I had one extra, or like right now I had two courses and a thesis while having these courses, which was a lot. And like I know that there was a lot of care from their side as well, if everything is working fine, if I'm like if I can manage within the time that I set. And they will always somehow try to help you if you struggle, if it's about assignment, if it's about like the study life in general, not just from the professors, of course, but also from the other people at the university. Like there is, that's something that I really appreciate from the university as well. There's always just like a high level of helping if you need it and if you ask for it, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, great. We're almost running out of time. There's so much to tell, so time flies. But is there a final remark or some advice for the students you want to give to them?
I think maybe like the one, if you're still thinking about it or hesitating, I don't know whether it's the right place to go. It's definitely the right place to go, because I don't know, I really enjoy staying in here, and there is nothing I could tell, oh, it didn't work out that well. And you will fall in love with a place where you will stay in Sweden. I think that Natalie and Bibi can confirm that you fall in love like from the first sight in Sweden as soon as you arrive in here.
That's very true.
Yeah. So
what I would say probably is to don't be afraid, because there were many people before that were through this process, and we managed. And also we are here to help you if necessary. Like there is a community of international people that stick together for sure. And so whenever you need to know something, whenever you need help, we are here for each other, because we are all in the same situation. So if you're scared of like arriving to a completely new country, completely new city and university and study system, it is scary, but we are here all together to manage this by together. So don't worry. That's what I would say.
I agree with everything that's been said before.
Great, thank you, Natalie, Bibi, Nouri, and Anastasia. We have one final slide, so let's see if we can get screen sharing to work. All three of you are part of our digital ambassador community as well, apart from taking part in this webinar. So if those of you who are listening today want to hear and see more about what it's like to study here, we highly recommend you to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, where you will see more stories of those three students and our other students and their friends as well. So you can find us on both Facebook and Instagram. You can see it here. If you have any questions after this webinar, you're always welcome to email us at internationaloffice@meon.se, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. There's also a student stories page on our website where we collect different student stories and experience from our students and alumni. So we recommend you to have a look there as well. But that's it from us today. Thank you very much for attending, and thank you to you three for sharing your experience and inspiring the others. And have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.